I'm someone I don't wanna. Coachella, worldwide famous music festival that happens annually and brings us outstanding musical performances year after year. Most recently, it's also been dubbed an influencer Met Gala, not without a reason, I would say. Many of them being influencers, use the festival to wear avant-garde, fashion-forward, and unique outfits, which we as normal people can judge from the comfort of our couches. So, the past weekend, the April 11th and 12th, the first weekend of the festival happened. And as you all can imagine, the internet exploded. But not from the information that you may have expected. You see, the annual race between fashion and non-fashion influencers to outdo each other in the fashion department has been disturbed by something else. What was it, you may be asking? Who am I kidding? All of you probably have already heard about Justin Bieber's performance Fiasco, or not a fiasco? At this point, it really depends on who you ask. Another question, why was it such a big deal? Here, I do believe I have a sufficient answer. You see, the day before on Saturday, because Justin performed on Sunday, Sabrina Carpenter was the headliner. Very exciting for her, especially since the last time she was there, she was one of the performers, not a headliner. Now she would get all of the main stage to herself, and many were excited, how couldn't they? If you think back to any of the recent major performances of Sabrina's, a clear pattern starts to emerge. All of them were clean-cut, very detailed, and rehearsed to perfection, including elaborate staging, many costume changes, fan props, and dance breaks. This time it was no different. Sabrina once again re-established herself as one of the top performers of this new generation. So it's needless to say everyone was impressed and left wondering how will she ever top this one. And on that point, I have to agree, honestly. I have no clue, but I don't doubt that whatever she does in the future, it will be amazing. After all, she has been in the industry for years, hustling and bustling her ass off for the success and stardom that she came to obtain just so recently. But what has that had to do with Justin's performance? Well, quite a lot, actually, unfortunately. When we make the comparison between the two, it's quite clear that the ever-mentioned double standard between men and women in the music industry, obviously not only, but I'm only talking about this specific situation and this specific environment, is still present and stronger than ever. I really wish I didn't have to say this, but his performance was bad. Basically, he went on stage in sweatpants, a hoodie with his laptop, and sang his songs essentially karaoke style. He literally used his laptop to project videos on the screen, and it's not as if he had a pre-made playlist. No, he kind of just winged it. Or at least that's what it looked like to me. And I have to admit, there were some touching moments, like him singing with his younger self. You know, he played the song that was recorded when he was younger and he sang with it. I'll admit it, I got teary-eyed, but the rest of it was just a mess, and it pains me to say this. And this is the moment where we come back to the aforementioned double standard. Because now imagine if the roles were reversed. What would have happened to Sabrina, her image and reputation, if instead of putting on an award-worthy performance, she decided to come out in a basic t-shirt and sweats? No choreo, no staging, no props, and no gimmicks. And to top it all off, she would sing all of her songs karaoke style just like Justin did. I can see quite clearly what would have happened. She would have been dubbed lazy, boring, and lacking in creativity or any sort of star power, subsequently losing everything she has worked so hard for over the years. And this one performance, just one, would cost her years of hustling and take even more to repair her image. And I know that what I'm saying seems to be harsh, but I try to be objective. it's not like I dislike Justin, and his singing wasn't even that bad. What it comes down to is the obvious lack of effort on his part. Many people defend him, saying that he's already done all of the gimmicks, all of the choreo, and elaborative performances. True, and no one would disagree with that. Does it mean that he would have to keep up with the same tempo he had when he was significantly younger? Of course not. And I don't think anyone expected him to. So, I wasn't expecting him to get on stage and break into a full choreographed routine with, tons of backup dancers and, this a lot of props and light effects and whatever else an artist may want to include in their performance. And I think that's a sentiment that many people share, that if he could have just kept it simple, but he kept it too simple. I think that it felt almost lazy, like he didn't care. And he was paid a lot of money to perform there, and he couldn't even be bothered to make a playlist on YouTube of the songs that he wanted to sing, which would have been literally the least amount of preparation that he could have done prior to getting on stage. And it's not difficult to put a playlist together. It takes a few minutes, especially since he doesn't have to perform his whole discography. Just, I don't know, pick your biggest hits or the most recognizable songs, or that plus the ones you like, or simply those who you enjoy performing. I don't know. Like I said, it just seemed like one terrible mess. Another thing that is used as an argument in defending Justin is that he's been through a lot. Again, I can't disagree. And I feel really bad and sad for him that he was, I'm only saying allegedly because I don't want to be sued, exploited as a child star. Because, let's face it, most, if not all, child stars are exploited in one way or another. They don't get to grow up under normal circumstances. And Justin was such a popular pop male singer. He had and still has so many fans that his experience in life cannot be compared to anyone else's. Of course, it's been hard, and I don't want to discredit that. And again, I don't think he has to go back to those elaborative performances that he had when he was younger, because alcohol, drugs, age, and the fatigue of the industry probably kind of made it hard for him to come back to performing again. But like I said, that performance was just bad, and he really seemed like he didn't put any effort in it, which is kind of disrespectful both to the fans and to the those who organized Coachella, because he was paid a lot of money, and people were really anticipating his performance because it was his comeback. I will get into that later in the video. And I know I will repeat myself again. I seem harsh and like I'm just hating and I don't like Justin Bieber. I don't have anything against him. I enjoy some of his songs. I just wish that he really put more effort into his performance. And while I really think that his childhood and teenagehood were really hard and sad, and I often feel like saying I feel sorry for him is kind of like pitying him. I don't pity him. I genuinely feel bad that he was put in such an environment when he was exposed to harm and drugs and alcohol and other inappropriate and harmful behaviors at such a young age. But I don't think that should be used as an excuse in defending him and his Coachella performance. Because in the end, he is a singer and an artist, and that is his job, to put on a good performance for people who are paying to see you. And I just keep repeating myself, but I really think that, it's just, man, show some effort and act like you really want to be there. And like I said before, I understand that Justin has been through a lot, and I can understand wanting to come back for whatever reason it may be, missing his fans, missing performing, or something else completely. And all of his fans were excited. After all, one of the major male pop stars that has been inactive for some time would be performing again. Yet his set left many feeling conflicted and unsatisfied. And I would say for a good reason. It was not a good performance objectively. I will repeat myself yet again, but I did not expect him to come out in a tight, glittery outfit and start performing incredibly difficult choreography. Would it be fun? Definitely. But he didn't want to do that, and that's totally okay. What he should have done instead of the unsatisfying performance was to simply take a guitar, a standing mic, and sing. I would have even kept the bit where he sang with his younger self. It really was nice and a heartwarming moment. There are many male singers who do it just like that. Look at Ed Sheeran, for example. And people love it. And I'm convinced that in Justin's case, they would have loved that kind of performance just as much, if only he has put in more effort. Looking at the broader picture of the music industry, the double standard is just glaringly obvious. As much as I'm at odds with Taylor Swift at the moment, she was right when she said that women constantly need to reinvent themselves to be interesting. They constantly need to search for new ways to keep the audience entertained, while still remaining effortless, creating and not copying anyone, because, you have to be original while doing all of that. So basically, in order for women to still keep their jobs as artists and musicians, they have to bend their backs. I think that's the saying. If not, correct me. Just to simply keep public interested. Like I said, if one of them just walked out in a plain outfit and had no plan for their performance whatsoever and kind of just winged it, people would be really mean and really bothered by it. And I would say for a good reason. I mean, you are paying to see the artist, and the concert situation right now is not great. And what I mean by that is the ticket prices. They are rising, and they are extremely high. I think the highest they have been ever. I might be wrong, don't fact check me on that, but you just have to look at the Harry Styles situation. The ticket prices were outrageously high, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't even consider buying one, because I will have to add cost of traveling and staying and food and everything. It was just too much. And I think artists have to kind of realize that at some point, one, they have to lower the ticket prices, and two, if they want to keep those prices, they have to provide a show that will be so unforgettable and entertaining and captivating that would justify the price, which I don't think anything really could justify the price. But if they want to still have kind of higher prices, they do need to provide a value that would be good enough for the concert goer to kind of justify to themselves spending this outlandish amount of money just to go and see their favorite musician. Or not a favorite, you can be a casual concert goer, but I think more and more people kind of let go of this. I don't know if you can call it a hobby or just a fun activity to do with friends, because you're just basically gonna go bankrupt if you go to every concert that you may wish to attend, because the prices are just so high. So that's kind of, I think it also ties in with the gender bias and inequality in the music scene, because Justin Bieber got paid, I think, one of the higher rates in Coachella's history, and he basically didn't put any effort. His performance was just so boring and basic, while I don't know how much Sabrina was paid, but she put on a whole Broadway-esque production, and I saw many comments, probably all of you have seen them as well, that this is what happens when you give the budget to a theater kid. They basically put on a literal mini production that could be made into a play, for example, or a musical. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed watching the performance, because you can see that she put all of her into this and really made an effort to kind of recompensate the Coachella goers for paying the high prices for the festival and actually attending her set. And I would really like to say that the double standards in the music industry between genders, are slowly disappearing, but unfortunately that will be a lie. Instead, I think we should focus on leveling the bar for both men and women, because as audiences, that's really all that we can do, kind of hold both people to the same standard. And it doesn't mean that we have to expect everyone to suddenly put on Broadway-esque productions just like Sabrina did, or the whole Eras tour, or even when Cat's Eye performed, they have this elaborate dance choreos. Not every artist has to do that. Example, the first thing that comes to mind is Adele. She doesn't have this elaborate choreo on stage, but she gives her all to every performance, and she's simply amazing. Or just take, like I said, for male singers, you have Ed Sheeran, who also doesn't dance, but performs at the top of his abilities each time, because he's strong. Kind of the strong point is the lyricism, and he plays guitar live, and I bet it's really entertaining to watch. I mean, even Louis Tomlinson doesn't dance on stage as far as I know, and he still managed to pull crowds and make a show, even without having this elaborate staging props or whatever. So I just think we all need to remember that if a man is allowed to do that, then so should women, and the expectation shouldn't be set that they have to reinvent themselves each time they come out with new album, new music, new EP, whatever. We should just kill that idea. And I just want to say that doesn't mean hating, harassing, and sending threats to male performers who do not pull their weight. What we can do is start a conversation and bring more awareness to this issue, hoping that it will all move towards improving the situation. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy Justin's performance, or were you left disappointed? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions. And since I didn't do that in the beginning, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Mara, and on this channel I talk about everything and anything pop culture related. If you liked this video, consider liking it, subscribing, and checking out my other videos. There's a high chance that you will like it. And that will be all from me for today. If you made it till the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! What if I'm someone you won't talk about?